Brittany and welcome back to Britney Unplugged. And as you can tell by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about the 6 types of siblings. So growing up, I've gone through a number of steps in my siblinghood, from being the youngest child to being the middle child, of which I still am, to being an older sister. And I'm so grateful for the relationship that I have with my siblings. Although there are certain circumstances with a lot of people all over that they may not really have a good relationship with their siblings. There are people who don't speak to their siblings and everything. So the type of siblings I'm going to talk about today, hopefully you can relate to them. And if you feel like, okay, maybe you can't really spot it in your sibling, or you can't spot it at all, maybe you could figure out that maybe you're this type of sibling. So without further ado, the first kind of siblings are the toxic siblings. Now, like I mentioned before in one of my previous videos, the definition of toxic is poisonous. And there are a lot of people that find themselves in these situations, or if not, you may actually find that maybe you are the person inflicting the toxicity in the relationship with your sibling. Now, signs of a toxic sibling are they can never listen to you. They play the blame game, they manipulate you, and the worst thing of all is that your energy is drained when you're with them. Just because they are your sibling, and you are not obligated to feel good around them if they are not helping you feel good, if they are not aiding you to feel good, if they are not adding onto your self-worth. Do not lie to yourself and say, oh, my energy is just low when I'm always around them, but then that's just one of those things. It's probably just because I'm always having a bad day when I'm around them. If you know deep down that every time you're with them, your energy is drained and they're killing your vibe and it's just so off when you're with them, then don't lie to yourself and tell yourself that, oh, it's something else, because you end up invalidating your feelings. Now, a lot of the times as toxic siblings, you need to be mindful of a number of things. You need to be mindful of the things they say to you and how they say it, because a lot of the times they can be very passive aggressive. They can make very sly remarks and that can really eat away at your self-worth, but you may not even realize it because of how passive aggressive it is, because of the way they said it, the way they framed it. You may think that they're trying to help you when they're not. And be sure to be able to distinguish the difference between constructive criticism and the kind of criticism that will cripple and eat away at your mental health, your self-worth, and everything like that. Now, with my siblings, for example, I know that we can make fun of each other, we can joke with each other, but then at the end of the day, we know it's coming from a good place. We're joking because we're at that place where we can joke around like that. And I know for a fact that they don't really mean it that way. They don't mean to eat away at my self-worth. Their intention isn't to do that, but you can clearly tell, regardless of whether they're your sibling, your friend, an acquaintance, or whatever, you can tell when someone is intentionally trying to do something to you. Even if you think that it's not intentional, even if you tell yourself, no, they're not doing that at all, you will know for a fact that this is really intentional. You'll know that their behavior is in a manner of someone who is really trying to hurt you. Now, if you find yourself in this situation, one thing you need to do is you need to set boundaries for yourself. You need to tell them what you find okay and what is not okay with you. You need to tell them from the jump. Another thing to do is to confront them. But the danger with confronting toxic people is that they are never wrong. They never feel like they're wrong. They always feel like everything they do is right. And if not, even if they're wrong, they're going to make you feel bad for being right at the end of the day. So confronting them can be a little sketchy, but one thing you need to know is that when you're confronting someone about a certain situation, you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for you. Also, maintain your distance. Keep yourself busy doing other things so that you don't really have to interact with them as much, because if you know that the relationship isn't going anywhere and it's really doing damage to you, better keep yourself busy doing the things that you know are helping you rather than doing damage to you at the end of the day. Now, the second type of sibling is your ride or die. This is the best kind of sibling. This is your sidekick. This is the person who will be down for you 100%. They are the definition of loyalty. And when you're arguing, for example, they'll do the exact opposite of what a toxic person would do. Rather than them trying to find something wrong with everything that you're saying, they will reason with you, they will listen to you, they will understand you, and they will support you 100%. If you have a sibling like this, or if you are that sibling, then continue to be that sibling, because you are greatly appreciated on this earth. Because a lot of the times people don't realize that they take their relationships with their siblings for granted if it's a good relationship, because there are people who want to have that great bond with their siblings, but they just can't. So if you're that sibling, then keep doing you. If you have that sibling, if you have that bond with your sibling, then keep it strong, keep it tight, hold them closely to your heart, and never take your relationship with them for granted, because there are other people that are striving for that kind of relationship. And a ride or die sibling is always down for a good time. Instead of, let's say if you're jumping, let's say if you say to your sibling, let's jump, instead of saying no, they'll ask you, how high are we jumping? Those are the best kinds of siblings, because you will know for a fact that they are there for you in those spontaneous moments, and it's just great to look back on and you have such amazing memories with them. And the third kinds of siblings are the siblings that like to play favorites. They want to be seen in a very positive light. So normally it goes one of two ways. Either one way to play favorite is that they'll probably do it in the most innocent way possible. They'll try go out of their way to make themselves look good in front of your parents, but it won't really do damage to you per se. The second kind of thing is really damaging because they can literally throw you under the bus just to make you look bad so that they look good in a positive light. Let's say you took something from your parents' room, for example. Let's say you took perfume from your mom's room. Let's say you took, I don't know, your dad's watch or something like that. And then you tell your sibling, oh no, don't tell anyone, don't tell anyone. And then your sibling wants to look good in front of your parents, so they may snitch and say, hey mom, hey dad, this is what this person did, like she took this from you and everything like that. So that's really more of the dangerous kind of it, so you really need to be mindful of that. Or sometimes they unintentionally play the favorite, and a lot of the times this is when they are practically the golden child. They never do anything wrong, they get amazing grades, they're just so great at everything. And of course it can be annoying and stuff like that, even when you watch TV and you just see that there's a sibling that's so perfect, it really annoys the other sibling. But at the end of the day, you just focus on doing you, focus on being your most authentic self. Don't try and change yourself to impress other people. Don't be a people pleaser, because you are you for a reason. There's a reason why you are the way that you are. So don't feel like you need to impress other people. People will see your good works with time. They may not see it right now, but eventually they will see your character and your personality working for the greater good. Now, the fourth kinds of siblings are the forgotten siblings. Now, this sibling is a sibling you need to be very, very mindful of, because they are the sibling, but that doesn't let anyone in. They don't share a lot of their life with other people because they feel like others won't listen. A lot of the times with the forgotten sibling, they have made the active decision to keep their distance because they feel neglected. They either feel neglected by you as their siblings, they feel neglected by their parents, they feel neglected by their teachers. They literally just feel so alone. So rather than them opening up to you, they feel like maybe you won't necessarily care about it, or they just feel like no one else will care about it. And it may come off as arrogant, it may come off as, oh, he or she is so stuck up. But a lot of the times you need to dig deeper and deeper and deeper and really understand why they don't share a lot of themselves to people. There's a reason why there are a number of people who don't share how they're feeling. There's a reason why people have a hard time expressing their emotions, because they would have experienced a number of things that led them to kind of build their walls very high, because building a high wall takes time. You need the bricks to build it and build it and build it. So you need to really look into that and really understand why your sibling, or maybe if you are that sibling, really understand why it is the way that it is. Now, the fifth kind of sibling, which I'm probably really guilty of, is the parent. Now, this kind of sibling has developed the traits of a parent, especially an older sibling. I know for a fact that with my younger brother, it's really difficult seeing him grow up because I still see him as a baby. So when I see him grow up, I tend to feel the need to shield him and to protect him. And of course, children need to grow up, they need to experience things, they need to experience the difficult things, the great things that come with age. But then it's just something that really comes from a really good place, and they're doing it with their best. I normally do it with my best intentions at heart, and I feel like a lot of the times the sibling that acts like the parent is also acting with their best intentions as well. So just be mindful of that, and hopefully you can relate to that kind of sibling too, especially if you are an older sibling as well. Now, the sixth type of sibling is probably the most damaging one, and you don't realize how damaging it could be and the effect it could have in the future, but this is the emotional punching bag. Now, this is the sibling that carries the weight of the family, that carries the weight of the remainder of your siblings. This is the sibling that really takes all the heat and really takes all the negative energy, and it's literally taken within them, because people really lay out their negative energy and people really lay out their bad mood onto this person, onto this sibling. As a result, then it can really damage them internally, because a lot of the times when let's say you're having a really bad day, for example, then you go and then you come home, you're in such a bad mood and you start yelling at your sibling, saying this, calling them all sorts of names and everything like that, even if they haven't done anything. But because you have been affected by whatever happened throughout your day, you're letting your sibling take the heat for something that really isn't their issue. Now, one thing you need to understand is that there is a complete difference between opening up to your sibling and telling them how bad your day was and letting your sibling know that you're in a bad mood. There's a difference between that and literally making them feel like they are the reason for your anger. Now, if you are the sibling that takes the heat of the whole family drama, if you're the sibling that takes the heat for every single person's bad day in the household, one thing you need to do is you don't need to tolerate that kind of behavior. If someone is giving you a tough time, even when you're not the cause of it, don't be afraid to voice your opinion. Don't be afraid to voice them and say, look, I'm not the reason why you're angry. Why are you yelling at me? Why are you taking it out on me? I never did anything. And if it constantly happens, once again, you need to set your boundaries. You need to let people know what's right and what's wrong according to you, because you are your own person. You shouldn't have to take the heat for someone else's downfall. You shouldn't have to take the heat for whatever someone else is feeling, because every single person has a different day. Every single person experiences something different. So don't be the person to take the heat off from someone else's bad experience that they should be dealing with internally. And if you are always taking the heat for something that isn't your problem, always remember that whatever names you were called, whatever heat you took from something that wasn't your issue, that is not a reflection of who you are, because most likely your sibling is projecting, or whoever is projecting to you. So don't feel like whatever they're calling you is what you are, because it's not who you are. Because a lot of the times people will call you all sorts of names because they are not happy with themselves. They're not happy internally, so they take it out on you. Projection is really dangerous, because a lot of the times you tend to believe other people's words, especially if it's your sibling calling you this. Then you would most likely believe your sibling, because they know you the best. They know you a lot more than other people, and their words will have more of an impact on you since they have more of an influence in your life. Now, of course, if you're someone who's trying to get closer to your sibling, you need to make sure that you communicate with them, and even don't be afraid to tell them that, oh, I really wish we could, talk more. I wish we could really do more stuff together. Communicate how you're feeling, because at the end of the day, in a lot of cases, you're probably living in the same house as them and you just feel like complete strangers. So don't be afraid to open up the conversation and tell them that, look, I feel like we don't hang out enough. I feel like we should hang out more. Also, don't be afraid to tell them about your dates. Part of communication. Communicating is definitely key. Having one-on-one time with them is key. Literally making time to spend time with them is key, because it builds the relationship, it strengthens the bond totally. And of course, if you feel like the relationship is toxic, like I mentioned in step 1, make sure that you keep your distance. Focus on you, focus on what you enjoy doing, focus on your goals, and really just keep yourself busy. That is the ultimate thing. Keep yourself busy. And if it's really affecting you, talk to someone about it. Really release the baggage that you're feeling, release the emotion that you're feeling. Make sure that you have someone that you can confide in, that you can tell them your issues to, and they can really help you through it. And of course, if you feel like you need to confront the situation, that is entirely up to you, but you just need to be aware of the kind of response you think you're going to get from it. If it's a toxic situation, then don't expect the best response. So just make sure that if you confront, you know what you're going to expect. You go into the confrontation expecting what you know the result will be. So I hope you can relate to these types of siblings, and I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos. Stay safe, everyone. God bless you all. Bye.